A new school year is almost here, and school safety is at the top of many people's minds.
That's right. The New York Times is reporting U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos is considering using federal grant money to let states arm teachers. The White House told CNN this is not true. Instead, it says that Texas Education Agency asked if grant money could be used to buy weapons. So what do you think? Should states be able to use federal money to provide teachers with weapons? Answer at 13newsnow.com/vote. 13 News Now reporter Robert Boyd spoke to the Virginia Beach Education Association about the topic. Robert.
Well, Regina, the Virginia Beach Education Association represents about 5,000 teachers. Tonight, I spoke with the president of that organization, and she says she has yet to come across an educator who is in favor of teaching class while armed with a gun.
The Virginia Beach Education Association is against arming educators for many reasons.
Virginia Beach Education Association President Kelly Walker heard about the New York Times report. It claims U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos plans to use federal funds to provide teachers with firearms. She says the idea is a knee-jerk reaction to a much deeper problem.
Everybody wants a simple fix, and there isn't a simple fix. It wouldn't be safe to arm teachers. It just wouldn't be safe.
Walker, who taught school for more than 20 years herself, says a child's learning environment could be severely altered if you start arming teachers.
Learning would be difficult for many children if they were worried about where a gun was located or if their teacher had a gun.
Walker also says the responsibility of having a gun would be an enormous amount of stress for the teachers.
What would the guilt be like if a student were to take a teacher's gun, out of their desk drawer or out of the cabinet, get a hold of that, and then use it to commit a crime or to hurt themselves or to hurt others?
Walker says it's just not realistic.
The amount of hours it would take in order for educators to learn to use weapons in an emergency situation is just not feasible. There's too much on our plates as it is.
Walker says federal funding needs to go toward mental health training among educators, as well as providing more counselors and psychologists within the schools,
so that educators can identify and then intervene when a kid is in crisis before it gets to the point where they harm themselves and harm others.
Once again, the White House has said the New York Times got it wrong and that this plan did not come from DeVos. According to CNN, an official with the Trump administration says the Texas Education Agency asked if funds from a federal grant program could be used to purchase firearms. Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
And right now, North Carolina is one of 8 states where lawmakers are debating bills about arming teachers. Theirs would give teachers more training on carrying weapons. Here in Virginia, there are no state laws on the matter right now, but Lee County leaders moved to give teachers concealed weapons. Governor Ralph Northam is working with the Attorney General to see if that's legal. And we've been asking you since the results are in, your thoughts. Most of you feel states should absolutely not be able to use federal money to buy guns for schools.
Right now, an 80-year-old man is at Centera Norfolk General Hospital, seriously hurt after a car hit him in Suffolk this evening. It happened just before 8 o'clock on East Washington Street. Here's a photo of the scene from police. We're told the driver remained on the scene. Stay with 13 News Now for updates on the man's condition. In Virginia Beach, police want you to keep an eye out for this man. We're told Thomas Marquez went to get a haircut this morning, and he hasn't been seen since. He was last seen wearing white shoes and a blue or green baseball cap, but police have not revealed his last known location. He is 5'3", has black eyes and black and gray hair. If you know anything about this case, call Virginia Beach Police.
Only on 13 News Now, we're hearing from the grandparents of a little boy who died earlier this month. His father says he was stuck in a clothes dryer. A 3-year-old Brantley died on August 7th. His dad told a Virginian Pilot that the boy crawled out of his crib and managed to get into a dryer. He says he found his son unresponsive and called 911, but it was too late. We talked to Brantley's grandma, his mother's mom. She says she doesn't believe that version of the story.
I want the real truth, because I'm not buying, even from the day one that I was told he was in the dryer. I said, no, I'm not buying that story at all.
Brantley's father, Chet Lloyd, was arrested for a separate crime that happened 4 days after the boy died. He's charged with domestic assault, destroying property, and drug possession. Police aren't going into details about what prompted those charges, though.
Developing now in Portsmouth, the house fire on Quiet Court this morning was intentionally set. That is the word from fire investigators tonight. It happened around 11:20. Firefighters tell us when they got the call, they found someone in the front yard who was hurt in that fire. That person was taken to the hospital. Crews are still investigating tonight.
New at 11, the U.S. House is now debating an $854 billion spending bill that the Senate approved this evening. It includes spending for the Departments of Health and Human Services, Labor, and Education. But most of it, $675 billion, would go to the Department of Defense. Virginia's two senators, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine, praised their colleagues for passing this bill. They called it a big win for the Commonwealth and said that they hope it gets through the House and signed by President Trump quickly.
The supermarket giant Kroger has big plans for the year 2025. It hopes to phase out plastic bags in all stores nationwide by then. Kroger shoppers who spoke to 13 News Now reporter Chanu Her say it's ambitious, but in the long run.
Yeah, Regina, shoppers say the hardest thing would be just to remember to bring those reusable bags to the store, but Kroger says paper bags will still be an option. This idea, however, has a big supporter in the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. Like most grocery shoppers at Kroger, Selena Tabb opts for the plastic bags, but that could change in the near future.
Eventually, people just learn to bring their own bags.
Kroger, America's largest supermarket chain, announced that it will ban plastic bags at checkouts in all stores by 2025. Instead, it will offer more $1 reusable bags and paper bags.
A lot of people are more into going green now, and then there's the process of nobody really recycles their plastic bags.
Kroger believes the move would eliminate 123 million pounds of garbage sent to landfills annually. It's a decision the Chesapeake Bay Foundation is behind because it plays a role in eliminating another source of litter in the waters.
But it's a really powerful opportunity for the public to see the importance of these sort of steps to sort of remove these sort of arguably unnecessary products in our lives.
Tanner Council helps organize the annual Clean the Bay Day for the foundation, and he says plastics are everywhere.
You know, when we're out there picking up, this stuff is throughout all of the buffers. So in marshes and in wetlands, we find this stuff that's holding up the habitat and holding up the natural filtering capacity of those resources.
According to the EPA and National Geographic, 1 trillion plastic bags are used each year, and less than 20% of plastic is recycled. That's worldwide. In the United States, more than 380 billion plastic bags and wraps are used each year. Only 9% of plastic trash is recycled.
If we do, it just gets like stuffed under a cabinet. Other than that, it just goes in the trash.
So Selena thinks skipping the plastic bags won't be the end of the world. It'll just take a little planning ahead.
There's been other grocery store chains that have phased out the plastic bags, and it worked well for them.
Now, Kroger uses 6 billion plastic checkout bags annually, and only about 5% of plastic grocery bags are recycled every year. Kroger said it is also looking to cut back or phase out plastic bags for produce and meat, but right now they're just focusing on eliminating the plastic checkout bags. Chanu Her, 13 News Now.
New at 11, the first pier mural in Norfolk is officially complete. Check it out. Visitors got to see the newest addition to the Elizabeth River Trail this evening during a party on the pier. 2 artists created the masterpiece to represent the intercoastal waterway. We caught up with one of the artists who designed it.
The idea of this was to create a painting that people could actually stand in and enjoy, that they could walk down and almost feel like a calm meditation when they're walking through it.
Not including breaks, it took the artist just 3 days to paint the entire 300-foot mural.